Okay, so recording this didn't work. So I'll say once again, forgive my lips. I've been having a lip condition. Don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's the vaping I've been doing or if it's something else. But I wanted to tell you guys where I've been. And I've tried. And I got cut off about a minute 50. The last few months have been rough. Mom's been in and out of the hospital. You notice that I'm someplace different as well. I moved in with my dad in December. So I've been here almost a year. So about the middle, you know, like I said, she'd been in and out of the hospital. Her kidneys have been getting worse. So we ended up going to the hospital Sunday, the second week of September. And her urine showed, the looks, she looked like she had another UTI. Initial cultures showed nothing, showed that she was clean. We went to, she had been having her bouts of dementia, which had been kind of sucky. And, well, things were going well up until Wednesday. She had started dialysis. She didn't know, what was going on. So it fell to me. I made sure she had dialysis in an attempt to try and make her life a little bit better. But I'll explain in a minute. Well, I say an attempt. Wednesday, she had been put on a facial mask, a full face mask, because her oxygen stats were in the low 80s, mid to low 80s, and they wanted to try and bring that up. So they did. And I get a call from Mom that morning. Sorry. I'm picky. I get a call from her that morning saying that she's doing okay, but could I really come up there that morning instead of waiting till the afternoon? I didn't want to at first, but then I had a feeling, yeah, we should go ahead and get up there. For those that are vapors, this is an IPVD2 with a mini Buddha clone. It's vaping on about 0.57 ohms. And I am vaping, what's it called? Boomstick. It's a Boomstick clone from a friend of mine on Reddit. He does DIY juice. Love him. His name's Lofty Customs. If you want to go take a look at him on there, tell him I sent you. But anyway, I get there Wednesday, and I look in for a minute. Saw that she had pulled the mask off. Looked like she was sleeping at the time. So I said, okay, she's sleeping, but we need to get this mask back on her. Luckily, Crispina was right there. She was her nurse for the day. So I go get her. I stand at the door to the room, making sure that everything was okay. There was a nursing student there at the time, so they took her in there. And, they start with a gentle shake. Miss Woody, Miss Woody. Sternal rub, Miss Woody, Miss Woody. Normally, if you're going to be with it, this hurts. And if you do it a certain way, it really hurts. No response to either, so she was grabbed by the shoulders and shook. I mean, literally shook, where her head was bobbing. No response. Crispina took a really quick listen to her, said that she's not breathing, and called Club Blue. Where's, and the student asked, where's the button? It's on the wall. Press code blue on the wall now. And I saw the blue flashing lights come up, showing that there was a problem. I was okay up until I heard the call over the intercom. Code blue, room 426B. Some people know that was my mom. Because I have friends at the hospital, and they was like, oh my gosh, 426 was you? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I lost it. I was led from the nurse's station where I was. I was trying to stay out of the way. And the nursing manager, Elise, Shelley, it's one of those two. I think it was Shelley. Led me out of the nurse's station to the waiting area, which I'm thankful because my knee started to give out about the time I heard them working on her. Where I just completely lost it. So they worked on her for a while, and as they called it over the intercom, I was calling her sister saying, she's not breathing, she's code blue, get up here. So she got up there in record time. It normally takes her about an hour to get ready. She was up there in about 20 minutes. And they were still working on her. I tried to call my stepmom because, she had just dropped me off and was going to go do something and come back. Called her phone, got my dad saying, Dad, you guys need to get up here. You guys need to get up here now. Forgive me. This has been very traumatic. The last few weeks have been very traumatic. And Dad was like, I can't get up there. The only viable car is with your stepmom. And we need to, if you need us to, I'll be up there in a little bit. I'll tell your stepmom we'll get in the car and go. He got himself together and was ready for her whenever they came back and told me she's okay. She's doing great. They put her on BiPAP because they didn't want to intubate her. But she was so close to being intubated. I was like, okay. I was getting ready to do dialysis on her that day and didn't quite get there until that afternoon. She was in a front bed in the ICU, meaning they could keep a good watch on her. And she had her second dialysis session. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And after about 30 minutes or so on BiPAP, they put her back on a nasal cannula, see how she would do. She kept going from needing the nasal cannula to needing a full facial mask, but never went back on BiPAP. I said, okay, that's fine. Whatever you need to do to keep her comfortable. Thursday. By the way, Thursdays suck. Thursday, the next day. Not my sister, but her sister, who I also call Sissy, sits me down and says, we need to think about signing a do not resuscitate. Because she's not going to get any better this time. And she didn't. She never got any better. So we made the decision to tell the nurse manager, Shelley, that we're putting her on do not resuscitate, do not intubate, which basically means they can use medicines and whatnot to bring her blood pressure back up, try to re-induce breathing, bring her heart rate down if it speeds up. But no shocks to the chest, no chest compressions. And at the time, I was okay with it. Friday rolls around. And I start getting bombarded by the family again. Basically saying we need to put her in the hospice. Because she's not coming out of this. Her dementia's gotten to a point where she wasn't going to come out of it. And she didn't. And that's so hard to hear. We asked the doctor where we thought she was with her prognosis, which was about 3 months, maybe, on dialysis, 2 weeks, maybe, without it. And that just made me lose it. They said, start thinking about it. And I said, okay. Since I'm the one that has to make all the medical decisions. So I started thinking about it. I was going to give it till Monday to make a final decision. And Saturday rolls around. It's her birthday. I called to check up on her. She's been using the call light all morning. She's been calling for Dr. Graves, and whenever Dr. Graves came in there to check on her, she said, I want to go back to the nursing home. I want to go back to the nursing home. She said, well, okay. Monday, we'll keep you here another couple days. Make sure that you're not going to, get any worse over the weekend. And we'll send you back on Monday. She was lucid for her birthday. She was lucid Sunday. The best last birthday present she could have given us. She even had some Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was amazing. So, Saturday, I made the decision to put her in hospice. And I had basically two options. Either put her in Russellville, and hospice house, where I could stay with her, pretty much 24/7. Or I could put her back in the nursing home with a contracted company. I said, okay, then let's do that. I felt this wave of peace come over me whenever we mentioned the nursing home, because the nursing home was like her family. And I wanted her to be among, family, even though we sometimes couldn't be there because we exhausted ourselves. So I got the paperwork started. I got everything signed up. And she was discharged Monday. The following Monday. And she was brought home. Monday, she was okay. She was starting to go downhill. Back to the whole, where she was yelling instead of talking. And I said, okay, this is how it's going to be for the next couple weeks. Tuesday morning comes along. She has breakfast. She has a good breakfast of liquids. They tried a food diet on her, and she was too tired to chew. So liquids were the next best thing. I said, okay. Tuesday was fine. Tuesday lunch, Tuesday dinner, did not eat anything, didn't drink anything. She was exhausted. Wednesday, she had maybe 3 sips of broth and some water. And that was it. And I go home to get some rest. Me and Deborah both did, my stepmom. Or rather I did. And get a text from Aunt Kim saying that her blood pressure is 100/20. And that we should be there for the next morphine. Morphine. Apparently now they have a version of morphine and atropine. And Ativan. That goes sublingual. Which I never knew. Until all this happened with Mom. And I knew. 100/20. The 100 was great. The 20 is really not sustainable with life. Meaning, she's dying. She's on her last step, and we should really be there. So I was there about 3 or 4 hours, watching her starting to go downhill, starting what they call agonal breathing. Meaning, she's taking pauses every once in a while that are about 10-15 seconds before she breathes again. Which means she was on her way out. The nurse examined her after Ma was outside, and they said tonight's the night. Either she'll pass either tonight or tomorrow. So I stayed as long as I could. And it was really hard just watching. It was really, really hard to watch. And finally I went outside to vape because I couldn't watch. And finally I get the marching orders to go home, rest, eat, because you needed to be at your best to see Mom, and you're exhausted, so you're crying a little bit more. And that's okay. You were here as long as you needed to be. Over the next few hours, I got some rest. My stepmom tried to come home earlier than 3 o'clock, but she forgot her keys. She needed to be let in, she couldn't be let in, so she drove back to the nursing home. Dad comes to find her, and they come home, and they lay down. About the 5:30 on the 21st. I'm sorry. I'm an ugly crier. 5:30 on the 21st. I get a knock on the door saying Mom just passed away. And that Nate was with her, so she wasn't alone. And so, the last 2 weeks have been a real whirlwind. Preparing her stuff, having her memorial. This Saturday, we're burying the urn that we bought for her. She was cremated. And she's been in that urn for a while. So, I've done my best. I've had moments of just sheer utter rage. And then last night I couldn't stop crying because of guilt. I just ask that you guys continue to pray for me. Pray for my peace of mind and comfort. Pray for the devil to go away and to leave me alone. He's the one that's putting all this doubt and guilt in my mind. And for some reason, even though I pray, it doesn't work for me. So anyway, guys, I've been on here now almost 25 minutes. So I'm going to wish you guys a good night. And I'm going to say one more thing. Basically coincides what I said on Facebook. If you have a relationship that's been burned, fix it. Reach out to the person that you've been burned with and fix it. If it's family. Because you never know. You never know if it's going to be the last day and you're not going to be able to fix a relationship whenever that person is gone. Anyway, I love you guys. Good night.